So I found this article by Richard Morgan of Sky Sports talking about what is going wrong with Liverpool and what Arne Slot must do to fix it. Going back into the Premier League after the international break, we want to beat United. We want to beat United. We want to beat everyone. How can we right the train back onto the tracks? Because we've kind of fallen off a little bit with 2 losses in a row. So let's have a look at what he has to say and see what we think. We'll share our opinions. I'm Lawrence on Liverpool, a tiny Liverpool fan channel. I need your support. I can't grow without you. So give me a subscribe and let's do this together. Before we go deep into this article, start writing already in the comments what you think is going wrong with Liverpool's season so far. What changes have had a negative impact on the way Liverpool play and what those fixes are, whether it's a return to previous ways of playing or some other tactical formation or player choice tweaks that you would make. I'm interested to hear that. 3 straight defeats. Crystal Palace, Galatasaray, Chelsea. They were against tough opponents. They were narrow losses. We weren't like thoroughly beaten by anyone. Although it has to be said in that first half against Crystal Palace, we were lucky to not be 4-0 down if it weren't for Alisson's heroics. What this article is saying, and something I agree with, is that it kind of exposed some of the flaws in Liverpool's play, performances, team structure, personnel, that the first whole bunch of wins with late winners coming in the 90th and the 94th, 93rd minute were papering the cracks over, you know? And those problems, which I'm sure the article will go into, were pretty evident to a lot of us Liverpool fans, even if we were still enjoying getting the 3 points. They were. The new boys not fitting in properly. Wirtz, Isak, Kerkez, Frimpong, all feeling a little bit out of place. Whilst Ekitike was performing better, getting some goals, it still wasn't lighting up the world exactly. And then the other big problem, very, very, very susceptible to counterattacks. Since pre-season, it's been happening all the time, conceding way too many goals. But apparently Arne Slot had noticed this happening at the end of last season. The article claims that Slot had already noticed a trend where opponents were no longer coming to attack his side, with Liverpool instead being picked off on a counter, or when making individual errors, teams would sit back, soak up the attacking pressure from Liverpool, wait for a mistake, wait for a hole in their defence, wait for a clear path down the left or the right or a certain channel to counter-attack with and then just go. And so what that does is 2 things. It decreases our attacking output, number of goals, more importantly, number of chances per game, because sometimes the amount of goals can be a bit deceptive. The amount of clear chances we're creating per game had dropped off in the second half of last season because teams had sat back, get that low block in, defend themselves, and that the amount of goals we conceded went up because we would not fix that counter-attacking problem. We still threw too many bodies forward, hoping to break down that low block, leaving ourselves very, very weak and fragile in the counter-attack. And so what did we do during the summer? Well, we bought a whole bunch of attacking talent. Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, 2 of the most expensive British transfers of all time, alongside Ekitike, which would have been a big coup for any other club. For us, it's our 3rd most expensive attacker we brought in one summer. So we put a lot of money, a lot of emphasis in that. Yes, we brought in fullbacks in Kerkez, who's taken over from Robbo now, and Frimpong, who hasn't quite rocked Bradley off his perch, and actually even Soboslai, who's taking a lot of minutes at right back. It would be a fair argument, however, that we should have spent money on that centre-back depth, because after Van Dijk and Konate, Gomez injury-prone. Yes, we brought in young Leone, but lack of experience aside, he's not even going to get a chance to prove that he would be worthy of a starting spot because unfortunately he's out for the whole season. And then there's Endo. And as much as we love Endo, he is not a centre-back. He can plug that hole if needed a little bit. He's not a proper centre-back. We need to bring in proper centre-backs in January. Have we left it too late? Is our season going to be derailed by the time that January comes around? Here's a direct quote from Slot. The first part of last season, Jurgen Klopp gave me lots of gifts, but one of the gifts he also gave me was ending up 3rd the year before and 5th the year before that, and him being so well known that a new manager came in and everyone thought, oh, let's start to play against Liverpool. Teams played in a completely different way in the first half of the season against us than when we were top of the league. So I think what he's really saying is teams underestimated Liverpool, or more so underestimated Arne Slot. They thought last year was going to be the big transitional year. We can go at Liverpool. They're not going to be as strong as they were under Klopp. And that backfired, right? That made it a game in which Liverpool could exploit their defensive mistakes with Liverpool's attacking output. Once they realised, okay, no, Arne Slot is a real deal as a manager, Liverpool are a real deal still as a team, let's make sure we keep secure at the back, and actually if we can get a point, that's probably a good outcome. They started playing much more defensively against Liverpool, which caused all the problems, and that's why Liverpool felt they had to bring in so many attacking talents to really combat that problem. Slot pointed out that this change of tactics from opponents is now going into this part of this season, and we have to find answers to that. You do. Yeah, fullback problems. We lost Trent. Whether you think he was a strong defensive right back or not, he's not the best in the world in that. He was the best right back in the world in terms of assists and passing and creating opportunities for attacking players ahead of him. He is absolutely a rarity. He is one of a kind. There's no one else in world football that does what he does from that right back position. And we've seen how much Mo Salah is suffering without Trent in the team. And other players too, to be fair. That's a big loss, undoubtedly. Gary Neville, Man United legend, says, there are very few players in the Premier League history who I have seen that can land it on a sixpence. That is that accurate with a long pass like that, with a level of speed, accuracy, whip, when he's talking about Trent's passing and crossing ability. And Robbo was a big assist maker as well for many years for us. And obviously he's tailed off. He's not even in starting 11 most games now. And Kerkez isn't that, is he? Kerkez isn't a creator in terms of crosses, not to the level of Robbo at his peak. Frimpong or Bradley definitely aren't that compared to Trent. So we're losing a lot of creativity from the fullback positions. Oh, this is interesting. A direct comparison of Robbo versus Kerkez per 90 minutes. Robbo last season, Kerkez this season. Passes played into the box, 6.1 to 4.4. That's quite a drop. That's almost a 30% drop. Open play crosses, 3.1 to 2.8. Chances created, 1.4 to 0.5. So whilst Kerkez is winning way more duels, he's winning 5.1 duels per 90 minutes compared to Robbo's 2.2, he's not creating as much. He's much more of a tackling, defensive-minded fullback, whilst Robbo was still last season attempting to create opportunities for his teammates, even if he wasn't as successful as he was during his peak. Ooh, and this is a very interesting one. Trent versus Bradley. Trent hardly ever played passes into the box last season, only 0.1 per 90 minutes, where Bradley's playing 2.3. Bradley's getting much more advanced on that right wing. He's getting much higher up, where he's in the box himself even quite a bit, and he's trying to play cutbacks. He's getting to that byline playing cutbacks. He's playing low crosses because he's getting so high up, whereas Trent was creating from deeper. Open play crosses, 3.5 compared to 1.9. And as much as Bradley so far this season, per 90 minutes, has been racing forward and trying to get in a mix of attacking opportunities, he's created 0 chances, whereas Trent created 2 chances per match on average. Of course, similar story to the Kerkez Robbo, Bradley has got 6.1 duels per 90 minutes compared to Trent's 3.8. Bradley wins the ball back, gets more tackles in, is more industrious in pressing and defending than Trent was, and we know that. That was not a surprise. And so Salah is in a slump. Yeah, he is. He is, undoubtedly. He's still right up there in the club's scoring charts and assisting charts. But for him, it's an absolute slump. To get 3 goals and 3 assists in 10 matches, 6 goal involvements in 10 matches, isn't bad for any right wing, but for Salah, that is hugely frustrating and disappointing. You could see that. He's carried himself in the last few games. He looks miserable. And look at this. So far this season, he's ranking 29th for expected goals. He's never ranked below 6th, and that was only one season in the 23rd, 24th season. All other seasons, he's either been second or first with expected goals. The quality and number of chances you create in a match. He's not getting opportunities. Why is he not getting opportunities? Well, Wirtz and Isak and Ekitike are not finding him as much. Trent isn't there setting him off on runs. He has not got the delivery. And so you see him trying to force opportunities that aren't really there, where he's way wide on the right and he's trying to beat 3-4 people to get inside to try and have a crack at goal. He's losing the ball most of the time, and when he isn't, because he's run past 3 or 4 people and he's trying to race through, he's hitting the ball way over the bar. His confidence is probably low too. He's frustrated. We need him in the mix, getting a high number of high quality opportunities again, and he will put them away. I'm telling you now, he will put them away. He'll get back into his groove. He'll be right back up there in the number of XG per game. Remember, it's just at the end of last season. He was crowned Footballer of the Year in the Premier League. You don't suddenly lose that just a few games into the next season. It's not Salah. It's the way we're playing. It's not playing to Salah's strengths. And then the article goes on to Florian Wirtz as well. For many, Wirtz is the elephant in Liverpool's room, with the playmaker yet to contribute either a goal or an assist. Any 22-year-old attacking midfielder coming into a team like Liverpool, you would have patience and you would say he needs time to get used to his new teammates. He needs time to get used to the new league, the pace and power of the Premier League, the aggressiveness of players that are willing to barge him over, and he's looked a bit lightweight at times. That takes some time. You've got to be patient with him. But when he costs as much as he has done, not many people want to have patience with that. They expect results immediately because of the price tag. And that's a hell of a lot of pressure to put on a 22-year-old. It's fair to say that when he has been able to find Salah's waited those opportunities. So maybe we'd be looking at Wirtz differently if Salah had put those goals away, and we'd say, you know what, actually he's created a few opportunities and he's already got 2 or 3 assists, for example, if other players had put away the balls that he has fed them. But then I would argue those opportunities haven't been clear-cut or high enough quality. And a quick little did you know, Thierry Henry had no goals or assists in his first 7 Premier League games. We know how that turned out, right? Even us Liverpool fans, we can admit Thierry Henry, all-time great, one of the best players the Premier League has ever seen. Could that work out for Wirtz too? Slot, however, needs to decide where to utilise his playmaker going forward in order to get the best out of him while also maintaining the midfield balance. I think Slot's laid his cards pretty clearly on the table. He sees Wirtz playing in that number 10 role behind a number 9 striker, whether that's Ekitike or Isak, with Gakpo and Salah either side of him. And whilst the other players, they may change, sometimes Ngamoa might come in for Gakpo. I hope so. I'd love to see more of him. Maybe Chiesa gets in there for Salah during African Cup of Nations. Wirtz is holding down that number 10. And when he doesn't play, it's a Szoboszlai who's then dropping a little bit deeper and more like a box-to-box. So I think it's pretty clear from Slot how he sees utilising Florian Wirtz. And it was obvious in the opening weeks of the campaign that playing Wirtz as that number 10 was affecting the champions' equilibrium and allowing opponents to get at the back four far too easy. Jamie Carragher spotted the issue at the time. That is not right. I've watched enough football in my life. This idea that everyone bombs forward, it's not for me. I don't like it. Carragher, obviously a defensive-minded player during his career, but he's right, and I agree with him. We need more solidity at the back. We need a little bit more reservation and cautiousness. And to be honest, when you have 4 attackers, Gakpo, Isak, Salah, Wirtz, or swapping Ekitike in there, that's enough. Attacking talent, that's enough. Gravenberg, McAllister, the fullbacks. They should be able to ping passes over to them and then let them do their magic. That should be enough, especially when they're attackers of that quality and ability. But Kara continues, Liverpool aren't playing football at the moment. They're playing basketball. It's just end to end. And I don't think top teams play like that. We definitely didn't in the first half of last season when we took such a massive lead in the Premier League, and then we just had to coast for the rest of it. What do you think? Do you agree with Kara and me that this tweak in the formation and new way of playing is causing us problems and making us way more susceptible to the counter-attack, creating a bit of jitteriness in the team as well? Or do you think it's necessary in order to try and combat the low block that teams do play against us? All right, I'm going to leave it there. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.